pretty blokey bloke, so like if you had that effect on him, you must have been doing something.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is a talent. Explain to Sean what iboga is, because it's pretty cool. Like,
it's just a root. Like, I don't know too much about it, just from stuff that I've heard and read. But like, it's native to Africa. It's just a root, and like they use it to treat like really intense heroin addicts, like the worst of the worst. And they've just had like really good success with it. Like so it just depending on the person. So if they were to give you like what you needed, like the trip would probably last 2 days. Yeah. Like you'd be just in bed, just in agony, and just be throwing up, and just be just soul destroying experience. But I wanted to try just to see how it go. Not that I thought that I needed, but just to
just commitment,
just to have a crack.
Well, see what's lurking deep down. Maybe you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like fucking
monsters inside. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing, like even a bad trip's a good trip. Learn something about
ayahuasca. Ron, what did he say? He goes like the amount of people he's helped with, like. What did you say? With his issue, with people with issues, the amount of people he's helped, and they said they're completely cured and they've had months of psychiatric help and all that. But he goes one ceremony ayahuasca and you're fine.
Some of these people out there, I've heard stories of like cancer treatment and stuff like that. People with cancer going to see some of these shamans out in the jungle.
Yeah, right.
They're actually like full cleansing. Like they can give you all sorts of stuff. It's not just ayahuasca. They've got like the whole jungle is just a pharmacy. You know what I mean? So if you go there, there are people with there's cancer treatment out there. So I don't know. For me, if I was to sort of get cancer, I'd probably try the jungle first before I sort of going into chemotherapy and shit like that.
Yeah.
So if I'd be diagnosed, you've got cancer, I'd be like, fucking, I'm going to Peru.
Yeah.
Going there.
Chemotherapy is just so you just
pump radiation
smashing yourself with crap that kills life.
Yeah, it kills cells. It
just doesn't make sense. There must be a way that nature has given us to deal with
well,
things
that whole fucking pharmaceutical industry is crazy, because when you wrap pharmaceuticals with up with money, then and these pharmaceutical industries are in the stock market and they need to make a profit for their shareholders, so
they want AIDS to keep going.
They
want people to keep getting sick.
They're not going to create a fucking cure. They're going to create.
Did you listen to that Joe Rogan AIDS podcast with the dude who reckons AIDS is not AIDS?
Yeah. I didn't really get into it too much though. Like Brian Callen was going nuts at him. Yeah. So I didn't really get to sort of sit down and have a really good listen to it. But I did listen to it. But
what he thinks that AIDS isn't
HIV is not connected to AIDS or something.
HIV isn't connected to AIDS. Yeah. So I know, but if they create a one-stop cure, you know what I mean? That
would ruin a lot of people.
That would ruin
a lot of people would lose a lot of money.
People would lose a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
where all these jobs go? People who are trying to cure AIDS. What about those people? They need a job. Let's keep AIDS alive so people have a job. Just go and find the
Pfizer's got a patent for AIDS medicine. They're the only ones that produce medicine to treat AIDS. Pfizer, that's it.
That is so fucking stupid.
Pfizer, that's it.
That is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. And then you see Pfizer commercials on television trying to get people to stop smoking, and I'm just like, really? Pfizer gives a shit?
Yeah, I know. And then you got to think, wow, why are they doing that?
It's just so you've got not even to go into cigarettes and shit like
that. All that. Oh, that fucking makes me sick.
Not even.
Cigarette.
Not even. Just self-administer poison and love doing it too.
Well, because you just saw those no-name packets, the no brand packets come out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Nicola Roxon chick, the chick that brought that in, she goes, well, I had a father that died of cancer. Or a father, or someone that in
payroll.
And then I was like, well, isn't that a conflict of interest? You shouldn't really be telling me that I can't look at a brand on a pack of cigarette, because when you've had someone close to you die of cancer. And then she's gone, well, look, it worked because we rang up the cigarette companies, and the cigarette companies said that they haven't changed any ingredients in their cigarettes. Funny that, because there should only be one ingredient, and that should be tobacco. But instead, there's chemicals and all that sort of shit. But then she's like, well, the chemical tobacco chemical companies, tobacco companies said that they haven't changed any ingredients, but everyone is now saying that the cigarettes taste different. Do you think that tastes different?
Australia's got the worst tobacco I've ever tasted. So going to South America
Did you try them when they were normal packet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when they were...
to be honest, I can't really recall between because like my taste buds have sort of like adapted to smoking like actual tobacco, like without like, just tobacco. And then sort of coming back here, like we've got a lesser grade of tobacco. I didn't even know if we even grow tobacco.
It's so dumb.
I don't know.
But I can't put it like a different taste.
I think they have. I heard a lot from a lot of just average smokers and full-time smokers.
Yeah, you'd have to speak to someone who's been in country.
Yeah, well, a lot of people saying that they've changed. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether they've changed it to put more chemicals in so it's more addictive, or but I think with the change in packet, all the companies have gotten together going, well, let's try and use this to put this to our advantage. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to fuck us up. Let's put some more chemicals in. We'll change the taste of the cigarette so people either get pissed off or
it's probably just a monetary policy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just absolutely.
I'd hate to think that they're trying to kill off people.
Oh, it just blows my mind though that there is like, obviously the amount of issues we have with cigarettes killing people. The chemicals in them we know is what mainly is the bad thing about it. Take out the chemicals. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand why they don't make rules. Instead of making fucking rules about the packaging on a cigarette pack, make a rule for the company to go no chemicals in cigarettes. It really
provokes the question to ask, why are they putting the chemicals in?
Yeah, and not only... Exactly.
Why are they,
And not only that, you get rid of the chemicals, get rid of the butt, so you don't have to worry about butts on the beaches and all that fucking butt your butt, what is it, bin your butt, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That whole other aspect of shit like that. Like, the littering aspect. It's just, I don't get it. It's bizarre. And then when you go to like Peru, you got like the most pure tobacco. And is it like, how bad is it for you, tobacco anyway? Just pure tobacco. Like, it's not
all smoke is
bad.
toxic. All smoke is toxic. So if you're inhaling it, you're doing some damage.
To your lungs. To your lungs, though.
To your lungs,
but in terms of chemicals, there's no chemicals in it, so
Yeah.
it's not bad for your body. Like,
It's going to be a lot better. Well, you know, people who smoke rollies have a higher life expectancy than
higher life expectancy.
Like, you don't want to say rollies are smoke like healthier. I usually do smoke rollies like normally, but like I think just like the rolling tobacco tastes a bit different to me. It's just looking back.
Yeah.
But you fell in love with that Mapacho stuff.
Mapacho was good stock, man.
You can get it. How many get off like $100 fucking $100? Like
like you just go there. They've got it at the market. They've just got like a big roll of just like natural tobacco, Mapacho they call it. It's just I don't know, maybe $3 or some shit. 100 of them, and it's just pure tobacco. Beautiful. Yeah. And they use it in this ayahuasca ceremonies to cleanse the room and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They blow it all down your shirt and they blow it in your face.
Yeah. Well, nicotine's actually alright for you. It's actually good for you in some aspects.
What did they say recently? Nicotine patches will help with what?
Nicotine itself, no, smoke's bad,
Something
but the
nicotine
is good for some fucking something.
Creativity and stuff or something.
Was it?
Yeah. Maybe we should start
creativity.
Injecting nicotine in a real junkie at home.
Just when you're writing or creating something.
Yeah.
Weed's good for creativity, I think.
Oh, man, I fucking know, man. I remember in all my weed smoking days, it wasn't really creative. It was more fucking, I'm going to just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, but like if you actually apply yourself and try and try and do something like, you like music's fucking better on weed, like everything's. Like,
You
just pick up different, like you just pick up the same frequencies, but it just sounds so much better. Like, and after a while, you sort of like, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're playing an instrument, you just sort of like into this groove, and you just sort of like, you play
Same
better.
with most drugs, I reckon, with music. Most drugs make music, the experience of music much more heightened.
Definitely. Like vibes. You hear some bands that fucking give up drugs halfway through their career and they go to fucking shit, you know.
Well, you make your best music in times of.
When I'm high as fuck, definitely. But drugs are
interesting things.
Got a bad rep.
Look, drugs are a benefit to the human race.
Well, they have to be. We like you said, we've evolved with them.
Oh,
they are part of our ecosystem.
They've always been on our side, like, just giving them.
They're on our side,
Yeah.
Why? I just don't understand why. Like I think Graham Hancock says, or Terence McKenna. You shouldn't be able to tell someone what they can and can't do with their consciousness.
Oh my god, exactly.
There should be no laws. Like if I want to go and get high, as long the laws should come in, and governments should make laws for people not to hurt each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, but when it comes to what I want to do in my own head,
exactly.
Get the fuck out. Leave me alone.
Yeah. if all these things are more illegal because they're looking after us and stuff like that, then alcohol and all the cigarettes and stuff like that
would be illegal too.
It's like, it's a double negative, like it's an
All like
oxymoron, you know what I
Maccas
mean?
would be illegal.
All this sort of stuff. So it really asks yourself, like, why is alcohol legal and not marijuana? Why is like all these chemicals in tobacco? Because like they talk about all this antisocial behaviour in the city and stuff like that, because everyone's been drinking, you know. All the problems in society when it comes down to it, like alcohol is public enemy number one as far as I'm concerned. You know, heart disease, drink driving, all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So if you go to a pub and everyone's drunk, like, what's the scene going to be like? But if you go to a pub and everyone's been smoking weed, what are you going to do?
I know.
Everyone's just going to be hanging out. You know There's not going to be too many bottlings or drinks going to be spots and stuff like that. So it's
so true. But like I've always thought, like, why is it that alcohol and cigarettes? Look, I'm all about the my line of thinking always comes back to an economic outlook.
Yeah, definitely. It's nothing personal. It's business, man.
Yeah, it's all about business, and it's about people turning up to their fucking jobs. You need them to turn up. You want them to go out, get fucked up, have a bit of a hangover, get back to that job. You know what I mean? You don't want them on a fucking 4-day bender. You know what I mean? And then having to sleep for 3 days after that. You know what I mean?
Having some critical thinking.
Yeah. You want the everything to keep ticking over nicely. So.
Keep the status quo.
Yeah, definitely. But
what you said before, like, I want to be able to do what I want to do with my own body and do what I want to do with my own life. If I start to harm others or impact others, then fine. That's when, definitely. But
But all this one shot. Look, I feel very sorry for anyone that smokes weed once or does one drug or something and then gets schizophrenia or something. That's fucked. I wish there was a better way that we could figure out what that disease, or what that state of mind does, so we can treat it better.
If we embrace this whole thing about exploring the mind and exploring it, using things that have been given to us by Earth, Mother Earth. If we embrace that whole thing and our need to find some sort of spiritual connection and that yearning we have inside, and embraced it and used our best minds to figure out how to get everybody on the planet in a safe way to explore this thing, like people who might be prone to certain mental dysfunction, then great, we can do that. It's just that we can do that. We can do it in a safe way. Drugs can be done in a safe way. We just have to create a way to do it, and it's definitely not by having them illegal.
You start with education. I think it really just comes down to where what people know about it and stuff like that. If you like acid or ecstasy and stuff like that. So
definitely.
If you were to sort of start educating people from a very young age, what are the positives, what are the negatives? You know what I mean? By the time they're in their mid-20s, they're really going to be very educated people. Yeah. I've seen that sort of going abroad with people that have sort of grown up with the internet, compared to generations that have not,
definitely.
Some of these guys, they're only 20 and they've got the mentality to sort of move away from the States and move to Guatemala permanently, because they're just over all the bullshit. They want to sort of living self-sustainable communities where there's no money. But I don't know how they're going to pull it off. We have a lot of conversations about it and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, there's always going to be some sort of monetary factor in everyday living. You know what I mean? Even if it's on a farm,
trading of some sort.
Yeah, when it comes down to that. But I admired them. So these guys were only 20, and they were just. They had the mentality, when I was 20, I would never have had the fucking mentality. To recognise the problems and to do something about it.
So this is just through the information that they've been self-taught, or through the internet and through means.
I would definitely attribute internet to sort of for them to sort of have the mentality to sort of pack up and move, but. I really didn't get into the conversation about they just the build up to them sort of packing up and leaving. You know what I mean?
But do you think it's just something about the generation that's coming through now?
Yeah, there's just more information, abundance of information,
and because of that, we're able to make a bit more of a truer connection to what we actually
a
more critical decision about what is actually happening. You know? So it just depends on people's value systems as well. So if you try to sort of impose your beliefs on someone else who doesn't correlate with your value systems, they're going to be likely to be very upset. Or, But
I think we're all just kind of going back to the drawing board now that it's back in the day when you didn't have so much information about how other perhaps tribes lived in other parts of the world, or you've got maybe people lived in other suburbs or whatever. Now we know how generally everything could be and how we've got so much options, so much scope for everything that we're like, all right, cool. How do we actually want things to be, and what's right now? We don't have to be blinded by this limited aspect of one way of living anymore. So we get to go back to the drawing board and actually figure out what the fuck we're here for to start with. What's the meaning of life, and all that whole spiritual thing, which I think